What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is your review for Harlem Season 1, Episode 3. So listen, Camille just got the bombshell dropped on her that Ian is telling her that he is engaged. And, you know, of course, she responds the same way you would expect her to respond. Like, well, then why did you kiss me? Like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? And he was like, I'm sorry, you know, that kiss was a mistake, but I just wanted you to know, you know, that I'm engaged and I've sort of moved on. And so we see her going into her apartment and, you know, closing the door so she can get that good cry, honey. And then we see her friends come and check on her because it has been a couple of days. And her friends are like, girl, no. You're going to get dressed. You're going to get that makeup on, wash your hair, wash your ass. And we're going out and we're going to have ourselves a good time. We're going to get you out this house, okay? We know what it is and we know what we need to do. On the way out to the bar that they're going to, Angie reminds them that she is not going to be singing signing up to be in the musical of Get Out, that her talent exceeds that, and that is just a dog and pony situation and she cannot do it. And of course they are giving her the whole but you don't have no money and you broke. Like, how can you be picking and choosing what you gonna do and you don't have no money and you broke? We find out that she has been using old girl's Uber account because, like I said, she broke. So, you know, it's just a whole situation. Now, they are at this experimental theater situation where it is a feminism thing going on. And baby, when I tell you, the women came out on stage and they were doing this whole, they had the boa constrictor, like the albino snake. They had these ponytails. They were doing this whole, like, come to find out they had a Groupon for this situation. And when the woman, they had a part where this contraption came down from the ceiling. They had fire. And she let her ponytail get connected into the contraption. And then it went up to the ceiling. And she said, look, I am a human chandelier. Baby. And that ponytail disengaged from whatever it disengaged from. And she fell and hit that floor. Baby. The way I hollered in my house. Whoo, when that whole situation went down. So, the ladies, of course, you know, that was that. That was pretty much the end of that. And so, we see where the ladies are. We see Ty is talking to them about her GQ shoot. No, was it GQ? Esquire. Anyway, child, a big old opportunity. Was it Esquire? I think it was Esquire. And you know, she's, you know, of course, they're proud of her, but she is sort of, you know, bragging about it, you know, everything out her mouth. And they keep, you know, she keeps reminding them that she got this big photo shoot the next day, big interview. And Camille is telling them that, you know, on top of everything else going on with Ian, she doesn't know what's going on with work. Her boss done got fired. And now, you know, she doesn't know what that means for her promotion. They were supposed to be trying to make her permanent. And she's supposed to be on track for tenure. And she has no idea what's going to happen, right? So she, you know, she finds out that the person that's going to be replacing her boss is actually one of her she-rolls. And she is so excited. And she is like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. And she totally fans out. And she totally blunders over herself. And she totally makes a whole fool of herself talking about, I've read all your books. You're this, you're that to me. I think you're the best thing since sliced bread. And baby, y'all know I'm fanning out because you know who's playing that role? My baby, my girl, the Whoopi Goldberg, okay? And Whoopi is playing it real close, like, girl, you were all up in my office. I didn't invite you in my office. I'm on the phone. You done been all up in here. And, you know, she lets her know, I'm very familiar with you, Camille. You're very active on, you know, social media. So that lets you know that they've been following, tracking her down to the social media. And Camille, again, is, you know, I think being a little extra, you know, doing a lot. And, you know, she even says, hey, you know, we got a sister here now, you know, so I know you're going to look out for me, right? You know, with sister girls doing it for themselves kind of thing. And baby, Whoopi is giving her the whole side eye, like, you're doing a lot. You're doing too much. But she does invite her to her home for tea. You know, she said, you know, that'll be a more appropriate environment for us to talk and get to know each other. Like, I'm gonna invite you. Now, that was your, Camille, that was your opportunity to make a better first impression, which we'll get to that. Now, while this is going on, Angie then got herself a big Uber Black ride down to the Dwayne Reed to get her some stuff. I mean, which is basically just a drugstore, but she's passing like 3 drugstores to get to the right one. So her Uber Black driver picks her up. And of course, he's doing all the Uber Black things, you know, opening the door for her and all of that. And on the ride to the Dwayne Reed, he's like, I mean, I'm not understanding why you passing 2 perfectly good drugstores to get to the 3rd drugstore in a Uber Black at that. And she was like, because this drugstore, they never have this in stock, and that drugstore never has that. And then the 3rd one smells like mop water. And they said it at the same time. So of course now it's like, oh, you get me. And they proceeded to have a conversation about the fact that, you know, they're both artists. He said that he is a poet and she's a struggling artist, and she's telling him about the musical To Get Out, and how, you know, she's not going to do it because it is undermining her talent, and she is not going to allow her talent to be overshadowed, and it is not okay. And so they bond. They get to the Dwayne Reed, and he was like, well, listen, you know, I was going to head back uptown, you know, after I dropped you off, but I can wait and I can take you back home, you know, off the grid. So he gives her a ride back home, and then she messes around and gets out of the car and doesn't get his phone number. So she is totally distraught. I'm gonna go ahead and knock Angie out the way, child. She is totally distraught, and she's telling Keita about it, and she tells her, well, girl, like, why don't you just try to get another Uber ride and see if he pops up? So she proceeds to ask for an Uber ride and continues to cancel it to see if he'll pop up. Like, she schedules a ride, cancels it, schedules a ride, cancel it, schedules a ride, cancel it. And I'm thinking to myself, at some point, isn't Uber going to, like, suspend your account and stop you from doing that? Like, at some point, isn't Uber going to be like, enough is enough? Enough is enough. That's enough. That is enough. Okay? Which they end up doing at the end of the episode. We'll get to that. Okay? Now, down to Ty's photo shoot and interview. Baby, the person that shows up to interview her is the girl that she slept with from the club. Did I neglect to mention in the last episode that she was white? I probably didn't make a big deal about it because it's not a big deal, but it became a big deal. So she is interviewing her, and she's asking her and questioning her about, you know, you're creating spaces for queer people of color. Like, that's what your whole business model is based on. Yet and still, you don't seem to have a problem with having a one-night stand with a white woman. And, I mean, they're talking in that, you know, professional colloquialisms, but basically that's what she's saying. Like, you pretty much, you know, didn't have no problem. It's almost like it's going against your whole business model that you would, you know, you would indulge and entertain dating a white woman when your whole business model is based on creating spaces for queer women of color. Like, what is that? Like, how does that make it look? And of course, it makes Ty sort of question herself a little bit, like, wait a minute, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what? And of course, she even puts her, she sort of like gets her in a box a little bit. Like, she sort of puts her in a box to make her have to even really question, like, is that the best thing for my business model? You know, now while all of this is going on, is it Keena? She got another date, child. Now, we all know that her situation is not the best. That we know what happened the last time the dude, she left her purse and the guy left her stranded, you know, down to where were they, on Long Island or whatever. And so, everybody thinks she's being catfished because, of course, he is too good to be true on paper. But he actually FaceTimes her and invites her out on a date. And she was like, see, I'm not being catfished. Like, he invited me out on a date. He is real. So the ladies end up going shopping because Camille's got to get a new outfit for the tea with Whoopi, and Keita has to get a new Quinn has to get a new outfit for her date with old boy. And Ty is there, and she's telling them what happened with her interview, and she was like, listen, I'm telling you, I got to get me a good power suit because I'm going to call her and we got to do a do-over because she totally caught me off guard and we got a whole problem going on here. So they, you know, the ladies are talking about their situation, and as they're leaving the boutique, they done picked up a couple of outfits, and as they're leaving the boutique, they passed a restaurant that used to be, you know, one of their little hangout spots down in Harlem, which is now being gentrified. It's being turned into like this high-end, you know, food French restaurant. And the lady started talking about how somebody needs to do something and somebody needs to protest it, but none of them really want to. They all say how they don't really have the time to. They got other things going on. Basically, let the other person do it kind of thing. So when Camille gets to the tea with Whoopi, she again makes a whole fool out of herself, okay? By, you know, butting in the conversation, talking loud, saying crazy stuff. And Whoopi is again giving her the side eye like, girl, like, I invited you to my home so we could try to do this again and do a do-over, but you really are not helping your cause a whole lot. So, after everybody leaves, the two of them end up having a one-on-one conversation, and Camille is still trying to, you know, impress Whoopi, and she's telling her how she's going to be leading this protest against this, you know, restaurant that's trying to gentrify Harlem, because Whoopi is telling her, you know, it's one thing to tweet, but it's something else to be on the front lines. Like, tweeting is great, and I mean, we see that you like to tweet, but it's something totally different to be on the front lines of the movement, and that's where we kind of need you to be. And so she was just like, she told Whoopi that she was going to be leading this protest and to come on down and, you know, see her in action. And Whoopi was like, all right, you know, like, we'll see, you know. All right, then. Now, while this is going on, Quentin went on her date, baby. Oh, boy, done invited her to, like, one of them, like, pyramid scheme type meetings. We have all been to one, okay? Everybody that you've either been a part of one, you done led one, you done invited a friend to one because somebody invited you and you got to bring in 5 more people. Like, we have all done it, okay? We have all been on all sides of the quote-unquote, I don't like to use the word pyramid scheme, but we have all been there. And come to find out that she's not the only one that was invited, because he's asked her, did she like seafood, because he was going to have lobster chow. He had lobster rolls, you know, probably to throw in the microwave, hors d'oeuvre kind of lobster rolls. And she, of course, is so embarrassed because, once again, she done got duped. I mean, he ain't catfish her. Like, he is a real person, but he is there trying to get her to sell, I don't know, timeshares or some shit, child. I don't know. So, now, while this is going on, Ty does have her do-over interview with the magazine. And the lady, you know, she shows up and she was like, the reporter shows up and was like, I really thought that, like, we said all that needed to be said. Like, I don't know why we're here. She was like, oh, no, we're here because we need to clear some things up. Like, I need to let you know about some things. And so she tries to clear up what happened and, you know, like, with the one night stand and how, you know, she didn't just use her, which she kind of did. But that, yeah, you know, she's created a space for, you know, queer women of color, but, you know, she might be open to dating somebody else. She might be open to the idea. And, you know, they kind of ended that with a little flirty flirt, right? Because you kind of feel like that they actually liked each other a little bit more than what they was trying to say they liked each other. So Quinn ended up leaving the little pyramid scheme event, but guess what? She couldn't get home. She couldn't get an Uber. You know why she couldn't get an Uber? Because Angie done got her damn account suspended because of excessive cancellations, right? So she gets home. It's been raining. She is soaking wet. She is irritated. She is tired. And she is mad at Angie, as she should be. Angie done ordered, she said that she done ordered her some food, and that the doorbell rang, and she was like, that's probably my food from DoorDash, because I ordered it on my way home because I was you know, cold and rainy and hungry. And who's at the door? Her dude from you know, Mr. you know, Poet. And of course she's happy now because, you know, they done reconnected. They end up going to his car and, you know, getting in a little oral transaction. You feel what I'm saying? And she was like, well, let's go back to your place so we can do this properly. Like, I didn't expect for it to go down in the car like this. Let's go back to your place. Now, I was expecting him to say something like, you know, he lived with his mama or something along those lines. He was like, oh, we there. She was like, where? Like, we got to go upstairs? Like, where? He was like, no, here. She was like, wait a minute, you live in your car? Like the same car that I was riding around in, like your car? And he was like, listen, poets don't pay a whole lot of money. Poetry don't pay a whole lot of money. So, you know, I got to do what I got to do. So, of course, that totally turned her off. And that absolutely made her rethink her whole idea about what she was too good for. And she said that she was going to do that damn musical because she could not be picky, okay? Beggars cannot be choosers, okay? Now, while all of this is going on, Camille done went down to this rally to give a speech, child. And it started off real rocky, honey. First, she started off the speech by trying to correct where the people made wrong assumptions about history and the tribes and who lived where and who did what, and turning it into something that was, you know, like, and then she sort of caught herself, and she saw Whoopi in the crowd like, oh shit, now I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta impress her. I gotta let her know that I know what I'm doing over here. So then she ends up giving a great speech, a very powerful speech, and Whoopi gives her the old head nod as she walks off. So the rally is over. She's feeling good about herself because she was like, whoo, I impressed my boss. Maybe I'm gonna be able to get what I'm trying to get out of this. She hits that corner and she runs into Ian, and Ian is mad as hell, and Ian is like, Camille, what the fuck? And she was like, what you doing here? And he was like, and because the protest was in front of the restaurant, and he pulls back the paper. Come to find out, y'all, he is the head chef. Okay, that is why he is back in New York. He is the head chef of this new gentrified restaurant, and now he is mad at her because she done led a whole protest against it. Y'all, it's a mess. It's a whole mess. But anyway, that is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.